All right, this is a video that I'm really excited to make. It has been requested by viewers and it's a popular topic and it's super important. It is the cold email follow-up sequence. How do you follow up with prospects and get them to actually book the meeting and buy from you? You hear it all the time in sales. The money's in the follow-up. You have to follow up 5, 6, 7, 8 times before you get the buyer. And in this video specifically, I'm going to show you everything you need to know about cold email follow-ups. And I want you to watch until the end because if you don't, you're probably going to keep making the same mistakes that a lot of salespeople make when they're following up. That pisses off prospects and loses them sales, and it's going to cause a lot of missed opportunities. But if you do watch until the end, then you'll learn when to send the emails, how often to send the emails, what to say in the emails to get the best results. And why don't you listen to me? Well, first of all, I guess I kind of did that out of order. But the money's in the follow-up. Why should you listen to me? My name is Jacob Tuweiner, and I've closed 6 figures in B2B sales. I'm shooting for $10 million this year in closed business, and I'm with X27. We've actually closed over $100 million for us and our clients. I'm learning from X27, and I think I'm going to go from a 6-figure to a 7-figure closer quite soon here. That's a picture of me in Budapest, but that's enough about me. Now we're going to talk about how to follow up with prospects and get them to respond. Okay, side note, quick caveat before we jump in. Actually a little more than 3/4 of all of my viewers are not subscribed. So if you're getting value from this or you get value from this by the end of the video, definitely subscribe and help out the channel. You're going to get a lot more content like this where I show you all of the secrets to book more meetings and close more deals. All right, back into the presentation. Let's rock and roll. Over half of your meetings are going to come from follow-up emails, and I'm not lying. Like if you have a well-written first initial email, like we talk about in this channel a lot, then you're going to have some success from that email. But almost, more than half, probably more than half of your emails or meetings are going to come from the follow-up emails. For example, this campaign, 90% open rate, 28% response rate, which is pretty good. 11 people responded back. That's out of 40, so pretty good. But if we look at so 11 responses total, right? The first email that I sent got 5 responses. That means the other 6, more than half of them, came from follow-up emails. And again, in this campaign, 91% open rate, 30% response rate. I had 16 responses from this email out of 54 people. So 16 is the total number. The first email only got 6. That means the other 10 came from follow-ups. Now you see why it's so important. If I didn't follow up, I would have been missing out on more than half of my total responses and meetings. So how often should you follow up? How many times did you follow up? How often do you follow up? Well, it really depends. It depends on the type of company you're going after and the person you're reaching out to. So if the person is incredibly busy, like they're the CEO of a Fortune 500 company, you might only want to email them once a month or once every few months. I mean, even maybe less than that, once every 6 months, because they're so high profile. You do not want to anger them or spam them. It's a very occasional follow-up. However, with golden geese companies, which I recommend you reach out to, they're between $5 million and $150 million in revenue. They're in the sweet spot where they close quickly, but they also pay 6 figures for a deal without really batting an eye. And so when you're reaching out to decision makers at these companies, you can follow up much more often. I'm going to talk about the actual sequence that I use that works quite well. But generally, no matter who you're reaching out to, the frequency of your follow-ups is going to decrease after each follow-up message. So for example, if you follow up, let's say you send your initial email, then 2 or 3 days later, you send your follow-up email. And then after that email, if they don't respond, then you wait 4 days. And then after that email, you wait 10 days. And then you keep staggering it. So between each email, you are waiting more time. So it's like, you don't go every 5 days an email. It's like 2 days, 4 days, 8 days. You don't have to double it like that exactly. But that's how you stagger it. And again, I like 4 follow-ups total, so 5 emails in the whole campaign. I'll usually do 4 or 5 emails per campaign. I actually tend to do more like 4 emails overall, so 1 email and 3 follow-ups. Recently, I've been doing 1 email and 4 follow-ups, and it's been working well. And I do 2 days later, 4 days later, 5 days later, and then 8 days later. And again, these numbers are like after the initial email, I wait 2 days, and then I send. And then after this follow-up, 4 days later, I will send again. So that's 6 days into the entire campaign, if that makes sense. And then here's 9 days in total, and then this would be 17 days in, so a little over 2 weeks for the whole thing. And you always want to send follow-ups on different days and times, at different times and on different days. I wrote that improperly, but the reason why you want to send maybe your first email on a Tuesday, second email on a Thursday, next email on a Monday, then a Friday, then a Sunday, is because people are going to check their emails. Some people check their emails during the week. Some people check during the weekends. Some people check Tuesdays. I think Tuesday is actually the best day to reach out to people. Some people check on Wednesdays or Thursdays. You also want to send at different times because some people check their email in the morning. Some people check their email in the afternoon or the evening. Some people check their email at lunch. And because of the insane volume of emails that come in, to your inbox at all times, even us, even me, I get a lot of emails. So if the email doesn't come in at the right time, it's going to be buried below all the emails, and it's going to be hard to find. Typically, emails at the top of the inbox are the ones that are opened up first and that are seen first. And so you want to be coming at them from every different angle, different day, and different time so that you are at the top of their inbox when they happen to check their email. That way, you can hit the person who checks their email in the morning properly, and you can reach out to the person who's more of an evening person. So I'll usually send you have to test and see what works for your niche. It really depends, but I'll send my initial email on Tuesday at 10 a.m. Then I like to send a follow-up email a few days later at 1 p.m. Then I might do like 3 or 4 p.m. And then I might do one at 7 p.m. maybe, and then one at like 8 a.m. And these are all Eastern time, but you can kind of just play around with your target market location and time zone and everything like that. But that's generally what I do. I think between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. is like the sweet spot though for most people checking their email. And so that's why you always want to do that. Okay, now that you know how often to follow up though and when to follow up, what do you actually say in the follow-up emails? Well, X27, this is straight from the horse's mouth. We teach 3 main email types. There's a fourth one that's a bit more complicated. If you want to know what the fourth one is, you can let me know down below. But I don't even use the fourth one. I mostly stick to these 3, and they work quite well. So the 3 are, you have the bump email, the big win email, and the breakup email. So I'm going to go through each one individually. So here's the bump email. Hi Hassan, just realized I've never heard back from you, so giving this a bump. Thanks, Jacob. He gets back. Hey Jacob, thank you for reaching out. Let's set up a call for mid-January, blah, 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 blah. So this guy, I had a meeting with him last week and he didn't show up, so I had to reschedule. But this is 2 days after or 3 days after the initial email. It's a quick bump email. And by the way, all of your emails are always being sent as a response to the initial email. So in your tool, I like to use Mixmax, and let me know if you want to use the email tools that I use because I might make a video about that. But in Mixmax, I have all my emails set to go out as an auto follow-up or as an auto reply. So it says it makes a thread in their inbox. For some reason, people are more likely to open up threads. And so what this email does is it really just makes them read the initial email again. So if this doesn't really give them any context. So you could say something like, hey name, following up to make sure this didn't get buried because I know you're busy. Hey name, I like to say, just realized I never heard back from you, so giving this a bump. You can even just say bump or following up on the above or wanted to make sure this didn't get buried. Just something quick, nothing else. The whole point is to just literally bump the email to the top of their inbox and get them to read the initial email again. And the initial email, we talked about in other videos, but the initial, and actually I'll add a card to the best cold email framework that you can use for your initial emails right now. But that email is full of value, it's personable, it has a call to action. So if they read that again, they're going to respond. I'd say this follow-up email gets about half of all the responses from your follow-ups. So this is a pretty powerful email here. And then the next email is the big win email. I'm going to move myself over here. The big win email is just adding more value. It's kind of like another one-sentence case study that's relevant. So if you watch my video about the best cold email template, you're going to see that the case study is a very important part of it's a crucial part of a cold email. And if they don't respond to the bump, then I will send another case study. So here, hey Jason, just had another huge win with a digital agency in Boston and would love to tell you about how they added $100,000 a month in revenue to their bottom line in 3 months. Around this week for a call. Happy to send over some times as well. Again, a call to action. Thanks, Jacob. He gets back. Hey, Jacob, let's talk later in the week. Thursday is best for me. So we had a call. This guy's a pretty cool dude. So again, you're just giving more value, another case study, and a call to action. It's pretty simple. You always want to sound like you're working. You always want to sound like you're having wins with clients. And again, you want to have the big win with a company like theirs, just like the case study. You want the case study to be with a company as similar to them as possible with a great result. And even if you don't have more than one case study, like I think in this email, my initial case study email, I think I mentioned this same agency, and my my big win email, I just phrased it differently. I think I said something like in the first email, like I think I said, hey, we just helped this other agency make $1 million with da 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 da. And then I think that same agency actually added $100,000 a month in the first few months. So I just wrote the same thing, but I said it differently. Ideally, you want to use a different company, but if you only have one case study, you can just talk about another benefit they had, something like that. But that's usually what I'll do for my big win email. And this is going to come 4 to 5 days after the follow-up email. So we're about 6 to 7 days into our whole entire outreach campaign. And then we have lastly the breakup email, and this is the email that actually I think is the second most powerful out of all of them. I'll just read it. So, hey Brian, at this point I'm going to assume getting more clients for Waytech isn't a priority for you now. If that changes, please let me know. We'd love to work together. And Brian got back and said, hey, I'm available next week. And so what this email does is it's a breakup email. You're basically saying, hey, this isn't a priority for you right now. I'm not going to email you anymore. And it means that they're losing an opportunity, basically, to work with you. And people have people will do. I mean, if you're in sales, you know this, right? People are motivated by one of two things: they want to gain something, or they want to gain pleasure or avoid pain. And avoiding pain is a stronger of the two. It's much easier to motivate someone to avoid pain than to gain pleasure. And so, if you make it sound like they're going to lose you, that's a problem. Avoiding loss is a big motivating factor. And so this actually gets a lot of responses. Now, I want to have a caveat though. This email also, if you word it improperly, will piss some people off. Like I actually recently was testing IT as a new niche, and I feel like people in IT can be jerks. I've had some good conversations, but I've also had like 3 people tell me to go fuck myself, which isn't amazing, but you know, it is what it is. And so, from that perspective, you got to be prepared for people to be upset. I've had someone say this is rude, because what you're basically saying is that that getting more clients for them isn't a priority for you now, which maybe you could say getting more clients. Maybe I could say getting more clients with lead generation isn't a priority for you now. But this email, I don't know. I asked Alex Berman, the founder of X27, about this, and he said that he's okay with going in with a kind of the edged sword, because it does get. I mean, some people will get pissed off, but also it gets a lot of meetings. And it's not rude, I don't think. I mean, I think it's polite. And the initial email that we send is custom. It's a custom email. It's very personalized and very polite. So if someone gets angry that you're trying to help them grow their business and they tell you to go F yourself, then they have their own problems, and you probably didn't want to work with them in the first place. So those people you have to ignore. But this email will get you a lot of meetings. Like, I get a lot of meetings from this email as well. So you kind of got to see, like, if you're only getting angry responses and no one's ever booking with you, then it's probably because you're being a jerk. But if you do get a lot of meetings from this, or some meetings from this, and other people are still upset, I would say you're probably fine. And this works very well for me. So you have to make this judgment call for yourself, though. But these are all the follow-up sequences that I use. This is how you follow up with prospects. It works insanely well. And if any of my past outreach prospects are watching this video, they probably think this looks a bit familiar. So I'm done. This is pretty much all I have. By the way, if you want to check out, I have this amazing, let me show you this insanely valuable lead generation training document. If you want to know how to generate leads for cold email on autopilot, it shows you, these are like 3 to 5, maybe 7 or 10 minutes max Loom videos that step by step show you, and I've helped dozens of people, as you can see with this. It shows you exactly how to find a list of companies online that actually want to buy from you, how to find the decision makers, how to filter those companies out, how to find their personal emails, how to validate their emails, and how to guess emails that email tools can't find, how to validate emails that are accept all. Like, a lot of people don't send to catch all emails, or they do and they get marked as spam. There's actually a trick that I show you here that shows you how to validate emails that you normally couldn't. And the best part about this is you can give this to a virtual assistant, maybe on Upwork, and it's so bulletproof and so straightforward that they'll be able to follow it pretty easily, and you can outsource your lead generation completely without having to try and go through 10 different crappy freelancers. I would just hire 5 freelancers, give them all this document, and keep the best one, because some of them just suck. But anyone who can follow directions can do this, and it's like 25 cents a lead, so you probably could even pay them less. So you would be getting leads on autopilot for cheap. This is, again, in the description down below. You can click the link and grab this. And then lastly, if you have any questions, you want help with your cold email campaigns, if you're having trouble getting on the phone with more prospects, you want to increase your meeting book rates, you want to close more deals, become, a better salesperson, cold salesperson, whatever, anything at all. You can book a coaching call with me down below. It's $50 and it's for one call, and I will help you out with whatever you want. Pretty cheap right now. I'm probably going to increase it soon, but I want to help as many people as I can. So that's why it's so cheap. And that is pretty simple. You just click the link, go to my calendar, and you can book the time. I actually just helped a guy in Kenya close a deal for about $1,000, which is it's about double what an average person would earn in this country that's college educated, which is really cool. And that's after like 1 week of after talking. So that's really cool. I want to help you do the same thing. So you can click that link and grab the call. Take your cold email campaign to the next level. That's all for me, though. I'm going to catch you in the next one. Later.